Welcome to the community update, community call for the 13th of October, 2021. Lots moving. I'm never sure we actually capture everything that's going on in these slideshows, but here we go. Hey, Will. All right, so just an update on current forum discussions, a lot of activity over there, continuing conversation over on the signaling proposal number 4 for the upgrade. There's conversation about the Cosmos ecosystem allocation and pretty active conversation about community grant opportunities. So there's, I think, hopefully some exciting things starting to move. Hopefully we can start to leverage the resources that we have available as a community to support some great projects taking place. But people got to lean in and start making proposals. All right, so the proposal number 4 passed. So that's exciting. That was the signaling proposal for Regen Ledger 2.0. We are now marching towards the formal proposal that will actually include the binaries for the upgrade. Just report back, the proposal passed with a super majority, beyond super majority, but there was a single validator that had a dissenting vote. That was Aki Takat, and they outlined in quite a bit of detail their reason for voting no. Which was essentially that there isn't a land tenure registry system yet. Just note, there is no such thing globally as an alternative land registry system other than whatever the nation state is. That's sort of is actually quite a big research and development issue, and one that definitely I would echo needs to be addressed. But hopefully we can, as a community, start coming up with pilots and opportunities to test how to create a community-run property registry system that then Regen Ledger can interface with. Just one of the sort of oracle problems that we face in bringing real-world ecological health on chain. So it seems like most of the rest of the community felt pretty comfortable with the permission credit class module and moving forward with that. And just a note, R&D Inc., neither R&D Inc. nor Regen Foundation actively voted. So whatever the validators that those two organizations were delegating to, the votes just went with those validators. Which, at least as things are kind of getting going, is generally how we're wanting to participate in governance, is kind of allow the community to engage with their opinions and sort of let our token voting go with that flow. We'll probably cross a threshold where that's no longer the case, but for the time being, it seems like it's the right approach. Okay, so just a little bit more detail, Regen Ledger 2.0, next steps, and I'll probably pass it over to Ryan, who's on the call here. Did I see a Ryan here? Do you want to go through this one?
Sure, I can go through it. Yeah, as far as next steps, we've cut an RC, so we're just doing some final testing. We've written a bunch of acceptance tests to test against that RC with, and we're doing some tests of the upgrade. As we previously mentioned on other calls, that we're going to do a community test with the Redwood testnet, but some of these we're spinning up these temporary test nets that is part of our testing process in order to make sure that the upgrade works before we include it on the Redwood testnet, or obviously once we do it on mainnet. So we're just kind of going through these final items, and there is a blog post planned. It looks like that will hopefully get wrapped up in this week or next week, and just providing a little bit more information. We had a lot of great discussions coming out of the forum, and a lot of great questions, and we have a new documentation for the eco credit module spec up. So we're just one step closer to getting a clear, coherent understanding for the community in order to start using the eco credit module, which will be available to test out on Redwood testnet, and before interacting with it on Regen mainnet too. So in the allow list proposal will also follow the Regen Ledger 2.0 upgrade. That is the proposal from R&D to be added to the allow list for credit class creators and anyone else who might be interested in going that route is welcome to submit a proposal as well. So yeah, I think that covers everything. Is there anything else that you had in mind here, Gregory?
No, that's great.
I actually, if you guys can hear me, I actually have a question. So since this upgrade is not a parameter change, we're gonna have to organize the validators after the proposal. Is that correct? So I mean, what I'm saying is that once the proposal passes, then there's also gonna be a period where we have to organize the validators to actually upgrade. Is that correct, Ryan?
Proposal will have the details of the upgrade, including the time that the upgrade is going to be.
The halt height and everything will be in there? Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I was a
The
little
upgrade
unclear on
proposal
that, and I'm
is
sure
block
that
height.
others are too. Okay, cool.
It includes the block height. So at the time the proposal passes, then that is committed to chain. And then Cosmovisor, if they're using Cosmovisor, it'll watch for the block height and it'll switch the binaries to the newest binary. So validators just need to prepare their binaries ahead of time.
Excellent. Thank you.
Here's to smooth upgrading.
We
Yeah.
will do our best.
This is I mean, it's, I don't know if for people who are just like tuning in and wondering like, what are they talking about? Our region's been pioneering the sort of smooth upgrade with durable chain history, really for the whole ecosystem. And, you know, hopefully this will be an example of a really beautiful smooth upgrade, a smooth path upgrade using the tools that we've created. And fingers crossed.
Yeah, if you're interested in learning more about it, it's called in-place store migrations, which is the name of the new upgrade that was prior to this implementation into the Cosmos SDK. Chain upgrades were basically exporting the entire state to a JSON file, running migrations so that it would update the JSON file according to the new data scheme of the modules, and then basically starting a new chain. So it's essentially a hard fork, and that was what was done prior to this year. But after the 4.2 upgrade, we are now using in-place store migrations, which does all the migrations in place. And essentially when you start the new binary, it runs the migrations within the code itself. So there's no extra work and there's no hard fork and everything. So it's exciting to have that feature available to the Cosmos ecosystem.
Which, by the way, as we're parsing like what features get prioritized and why, that was a like huge heavy lift on the code side, specifically to maintain data durability, integrity, and availability for the Regen Network graph, which includes eco credit information and, you know, eco data in the future for, you know, for this verifiable, auditable set of claims. And we, you know, if that's a value proposition, you can't just you know, dump state and hard fork into a completely new blockchain that is only keeping track of your like fungible tokens. So anyway, and there's a really big reason why we uniquely in the ecosystem, because not all projects need to maintain that statefulness, that amount of statefulness, and we do. So it's an important piece, and maybe has an orthogonal relationship to the land tenure conversation, actually. What gets prioritized and why, and where engineering resources go and when. So thank you, Ryan. If people have questions, feel free to just chat them or just come off mute and you know, interrupt. All right, testnets. Dan and Ryan, you guys want to take this? You want to start off, Dan, and just share a little bit about this stuff?
Yeah, sure. So over the past 3 weeks or so, we've been working on some nomenclature and test nets. We basically are wanting to run a stable version of mainnet as a test net, similar to how they do it on the Ethereum blockchain and others. But we also are running a dev net that is basically the not so stable version with the experimental flags. And you can play with any of the stuff kind of that our own R&D developers are playing with. So there's some other modules. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really play with the DevNet too much. Maybe Ryan can speak to that as what's included in there. But yeah, for the Redwood testnet, again, it's a stable testnet, same version as mainnet. I've included the faucet address there. You can also find all of that information on each respective GitHub with the link included there, but you could find that pretty easily just by going to Regen Network GitHub. And again, same thing for Hambach. This is more of our unstable testnet / devnet that is not guaranteed to always be running. So just be aware that there might be breaking changes that happen quite often. Again, if you want something more stable, just play with the Redwood testnet. I've also
Just to break in, Dan.
Sure.
So for Will and Paul and Dorn, the Hambach testnet is basically for open team integrations.
That's
so
yeah, that's a good point.
Eco credit module and the groups module are both live on the Hambach testnet in their alpha forms. They're unstable again, but the idea here is to have a sandbox to be building integrations with RSI, FarmOS,
Yep.
open team, community staking DAO, playing around with these different elements that are starting to emerge onto that community roadmap. So we wanted to have, a sandbox for development there.
Yep, and Hambach is already running version 2.0 beta currently, so you can, if you're curious, go ahead and start playing with it. That's no problem. Again, just go to the GitHub there. It's got all the RPC endpoints and Genesis file, etc. that you'd need. And of course, if you have questions, you can just hit me up in Discord and I can try to answer those as best as possible.
Cool. Thanks. I think you were sharing about this. This is from last week.
Yeah, so
had to delete it.
right, yeah, so yeah, this is basically irrelevant. Everything that was in this card has been taken care of, so progress.
Forgot to take that out. Brief market report. So there's 26 almost 27 million in osmosis of liquidity. There's a little over 8 million in gravity DEX, a little over 3 million on SIF chain DEX, with a total 24-hour trading volume of $675,742. So not a lot of trading volume, plenty of liquidity. And moving over to public Notion roadmap, as you all know, is there. I did do some grooming of that the other week, and miles to go. I love the Jolly Green Giant guy. And as always, go hop in if you haven't already, and make sure you've got the Google Calendar link, which we keep, which has these calls, and then other things that periodically come up, like the governance conversation, etc. Use that.
Hey, Gregory, can we just ask questions? Like,
sure, please.
Going back to the market slide, I was just, I don't really understand a couple of the indicators, and I was wondering if you could explain it.
Sure. Let me go back and share my screen again. Yeah, ask away.
Okay, it's loading. Oh yeah, so I don't understand like the atom and the Osmo, and like I guess the first three indicators, I don't really understand it.
So each of these represents a trading pair.
Okay.
So Osmo Regen and Atom Regen are the two trading pairs live on Osmosis.
Okay. And Osmos and Atom is that Cosmos?
Atom is the Cosmos hub,
Okay.
and Osmosis is the Osmosis DEX,
Okay.
which is also built on the Cosmos SDK, and those two can communicate with one another by IBC. All three of these are IBC enabled Cosmos SDK based decentralized exchanges that you can natively just have a transaction directly from your Regen Kepler wallet to these DEXs and participate in either doing liquidity provision or trading.
So DEX is decentralized exchange,
Yeah.
and you have a Rowan Regen pair, you have an Atom Regen pair, and you have an Osmo Regen pair.
Yeah, two Atom Regen pairs and one Osmo Regen pair. Yeah.
So, and these are like the liquidity. When you say liquidity, it means like it's not market cap. It's actually tokens that are in that pair.
Yeah, that's how deep the market is. So that's how much value is locked in those trading pairs and available to be traded.
So that's the total value locked or staked.
Yeah, and this doesn't have the data of like the price of Regen, but you can go to any of these DEXs and see the price for Regen, which sometimes there's even arbitrage opportunities between these different markets.
Okay. That's the next level. I don't quite get it, but I'm just trying to understand the basics of it. So there's about 675,000 that is being traded, but most people kind of have their value staked is what it means.
Yeah, the vast majority of Regen is staked. I don't know, what are we up to? We should actually include that data point, Dan.
Yeah, it's over 72%.
And this is basically the reason why these indicators matters, because like this is your way into the market. Like if I buy Regen tokens, I would take my Osmo because it's a little bit more, there's probably larger market cap for them and more people have them. Is that like versus like ETH? You wouldn't do ETH because it's not on Cosmos, right?
Yeah, ETH isn't currently on these DEXs.
Okay.
It will be soon. There's also stable coins coming soon. So I think you'll see Regen stable coin pairs coming soon.
Okay. That's helpful. No, it was almost like I was trying to understand like, okay, there's DAI, ETH, and I had never seen some of the ones I didn't realize that those are pairs. So that makes a lot more sense. Thank you.
Yeah, these are just like pairs on Uniswap or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And okay. Very cool.
Cool. Hey, Darren, what's up? Do you have a comment or question? Okay.
Just thought I'd say hi.
Awesome. Other questions, comments? Hi, Dorn. Good to see you here.
Great to be here.
When you say you want proposals, are you referring to methodologies?
What I was referring to specifically was proposals to the community to spend some of our community funds, which could be in the development of new methodologies. It could be in subsidizing land stewards to shift to regenerative practices. It could be for the community to pre-purchase a bunch of eco credits to sort of like have inventory on chain for when we launch to 2.0. I mean, there's got to be like as many different ideas about how to use the community pool as there are community members. So the community pool has, I don't know, I guess at current market prices, which are kind of low at the moment, it probably has $7 million worth of assets to use that are governed by community members, and any community member could bring a vote to allocate that for something that seems like it's useful to the community. people could also bring proposals to either Regen Foundation or R&D Inc. If there's things in both organizations are working on granting programs, but there's one that exists. It's the community pool, and you can just write up a proposal and get it on chain. It's a little bit of a process because getting proposals on chain and doing the deposits is a command line interface thing. So you need to, currently, unfortunately, our user experience is a little clunky, and you need to like get with a validator or somebody who knows how to operate that.
Okay. Well,
so it's like a choose your own adventure. You know, you got to find somebody who can help you socialize a good idea that they're also interested in, and like shape it into something that's attractive and get it up on chain. So there's all these like, you know, there's all these levels of things that you have to do. We should write a little blog. It's
I was
like
just gonna say, that sounds like a great blog to write. Yeah, I'm gonna put that
the
on my
final
list.
boss is like, can you pass the final boss is, can you get the community to support your proposal if you get it on chain?
yeah. Well, I'm happy to be a guinea pig, and I will. I appreciate, Daniel, you saying that you would talk to me about it, because I don't know if you were talking to me, but I think you were on.
Yeah, yep, totally.
But I have one or two ideas. I think that Gregor and I pick up on some old threads or threads that we just talked about. But that's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem. Yeah, hit me up anytime. Are you on our Discord? I'll make sure to post the link here so you can get in there if you're not yet.
Yeah, I should be on there, but if you post the link, I'll reopen it on my computer, which is probably just.
There you go.
Cool. Other questions, conversation topics? Awesome. Well, we're just a little bit early here. Give everybody a couple minutes back on their Wednesday afternoon or morning or evening, wherever time zone you're calling in from. And yeah, thanks everybody for hopping on for our bi-weekly call. And for those of you who are listening asynchronously on YouTube, thanks. And, you know, let us know if you've got any questions. Feel free to ping us on Discord or Twitter, and look forward to seeing you all over the course of the next couple weeks out on the interwebs. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
See you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.